Test, 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 test. Perfect. Josh, I am not. Hello everybody, my name is Bigpot, and today we're gonna be checking out .NET 8, the new version of .NET. Let's begin, shall we? So, let's hope installation worked. Okay. Yeah. Just noticed. And everything should work now. Yeah. Shall we begin? Now, really? Stay. So, how is everybody? Uh-oh, something is wrong. Now it's correct. Critical. Okay. Now it works. So let's begin with what's new in .NET 8. So with .NET 8, of course, came C# 12. So we might see some new C# 12 features. We'll see. Sorry, I have this constant nagging feeling there is something stuck between my teeth, so just a moment. Hello, HipDad. I think now it's better. So let's begin. Hello, Mr. HipDad. So let's start with one of the biggest features, which isn't even outside of preview yet. This is .NET Aspire. As they say, .NET Aspire is cloud ready. Let's do this on full camera. .NET Aspire is opinionated cloud ready stack for building observable production ready distributed applications. .NET Aspire delivers through a collection of NuGet packages that handle specific cloud native concerns and is available in preview for .NET 8. We're gonna first check it out, what that is, shall we? So let's see if we need to, how we add .NET, how we enable .NET Aspire. So, to use .NET Aspire, you need what is known as .NET Aspire workload, which is essentially a use of command to get additional components of .NET. Example, .NET workload install Aspire, which will get us .NET Aspire. And yeah, all workload that it requires. So how is everybody in chat? And that's all we need. We also need a browser, a text editor to edit text. Now, next week we're gonna need to create a project. So we're gonna do .NET new, and we're gonna do a list. This should get us a full list of what kind of project we can create. And here at the top, .NET Aspire application. And right next to it we have .NET Aspire starter application. Let's try that. New, okay, let's create mkdir aspire test, aspire dash starter, cd aspire the starter, .NET new aspire dash starter. This will take a moment to restore since I haven't yet synced with the new NuGet, but as you can see, it happened really quickly. We created 4 projects, so apparently this is more of a showcase scenario than anything. And we can see we have 4 applications, a web, a service defaults, an app host, and API service. Now, one of these should have this .cs proj file should have a is aspire host written right here. Is aspire host equals true. So we also have in this sample, is it just me or did my mouse disappear? Yes, it's not me. Let me figure this out. Okay, so yeah, it's back and it's gone. Huh. Huh. Let me guess. It's either yeah, Wayland. I'm guessing it's Wayland. So one thing I believe we could do is, yeah, when the app isn't full screen, it works. So let's do a trick here. Let's make it pretend it's full screen. There we go. And we have a cursor. And we have a cursor. All I did was extend it to look like full screen, even though it's not. Yeah. So we have in this app host. Now this is at this point is my knowledge about Aspire ends. So I'm discovering with you guys. We have a new builder which is distributed application to which we then add projects like app service. Interesting. So it's probably using what? Introspection, or would it be service generators or source generators? Interesting. Okay, then we also have service defaults, which I guess it's more of a editable way of getting data. Interesting. Or editable way of getting certain pre-configured settings. That's another thing I do know. It's all about best case scenario, not best case scenario, best practices. As you can see, we have standard resilience, service discovery, logging, open telemetry. That's a big thing. Open telemetry, nice. Then telemetry exporters, we have a null or white space, default endpoints. And as far as I understand, this should be some reference inside program CS. Add service defaults, there it is. And it should also be here, I guess. Here it is. And let's try and open this up and run this to see what happens, because I know there is a cool dashboard somewhere, but I believe I need to start the app host. So let's go to aspire starter dot app host .net run. Well, this starts a dashboard on 15202 port. Here it is. This is the dashboard. I hope you can see the dashboard. Oh, you can. So let's me just do a bit of fixing on my camera. Forgot to back up my OBS before I reinstalled my system. But you have two projects, as we know, and before all of them we have links. Cool. We have API service and we have web frontend. Of course, we don't have any running containers. I guess you can in here, where is app host? Here you can tell it other things to run, not just builder. Okay, we don't have any kind of C# support installed. This will help. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, or otherwise would like to talk with me, you can do it in the chat, I believe there or there, somewhere. It could be there, I don't know. No idea. There. Somewhere. Apparently. Okay, this is no problem. So we're gonna quit out of this and we're gonna who fixed it search? I'm not sure what mix is. Builder dot. Oh, you have. Oh, Nix now has actual documentation. That's a new one. What is it more than just look at our Git repo for packages? Oh, cool. Not that I care. Silverblue works better anyway. We have container executable, Postgres connection, Postgres container, project, RabbitMQ connection, RabbitMQ container, Redis container, SQL server. This could be interesting. We could add a container here. Name and image. Let's go with, I don't know, a cool container to think of. Which container should I use? Something interesting. Of course, I could use something stupid like Redis, just for fun. But there is something cool I could think of. Let's not go too crazy and just run, I don't know, Redis latest. And let's see what happens. It's building. Oh, we have no Docker. So it requires Docker to work. Interesting. Interesting. I wanted a long running service, but apparently to run containers you require Docker. Maybe, huh? Yeah, it's a hard requirement. Apparently, looks like. Oh, maybe that I could PR. Maybe I could create a PR for that one day. Maybe on stream. Yeah. Hello, Bell. Yeah, I'm gonna be bug reporting this. If I won't just write a pure pull request, I can write a like fork and write a pull request. I'm doing great, Bell. How are you doing? So I guess I'm gonna comment it unless you have Docker. This doesn't work. And 1 quadrillion uh, of those things. So we also can do what? My guess is also anything like a Redis container that won't work because it requires Docker. So unless you have Docker, which I could get, but it would require for me to restart my system or create a LexD container or Incos container in my case. But again, that would also require me for reboot because I don't have it installed right now. So in any case, I would need to restart unless I try to somehow cobble together Docker inside Podman, which is a pain. Yeah. Oh wait, I have a new. Wait, it's a new install, so Apply Live might actually work for me. I broke Apply Live. Yeah, VM also an option, but again, that takes 3.5 years to get set up. Actually, on my previous install, I broke Apply Live. On previous install, I broke everything. Let's just say that. So yeah, it is possible, and it is to set up to run very well because then again, this thing has remote to run over SSH or over tunnels, so that could work if we wanted to do it. So you broke sound on Silverblue. What did you do? What kind of sound system do you have that you can so easily break? Let's try running an executable, long-running executable. So name dist. Oh, you have a custom wire plumber config. Why? And we also can add so let's go slash user bin. Let's do something fun like ls in slash home. Why do you have 32 sound devices? No, let's go with slash user bin. And then we want a string, or a string array, or I can guess new string, which then has this here, dot to array. Okay. How do I have one for each port on GPU? What kind of GPU do I have? I have one for all ports on GPU on my screen right now. I'm looking at my devices. No, actually, I don't have any for my GPU. I have 3 for audio output. I have 3, one for direct, one for line A, and one for digital output. And then I have for my microphone, I have also 3, two inputs and 1 direct. Oh, you have an arc, of course. So here we're gonna do LAH. That's all we're gonna do, and let's see if this works now. Okay, now it wants me to do Docker all the time. Huh. I might have broken this. Okay, we're gonna do the .NET clean, .NET run. We're gonna build and run, and Docker was not found. Great. .NET build dash self con dash r Linux x64. Yeah, good job me. Now we're gonna just do cd this directory, and ls .NET aspire dashboard.dll. libhost policy so. Aye. Now I'm some waters I don't even know. I mean, rf bin obj .NET run. Come on, run. GIO. Okay, so it runs, but then does anybody guess what I did wrong? Maybe this will be a good hint. Now let's try again. Yes. Next time, if you try and do it's called change the file, you should probably save it. And here we go, the dashboard. And we have under projects, we still have 2 projects, but under executables now we should have our executable. And look, logs, view. And it ls the whole of /user /usr/bin, I guess. Cool. Cool. So, I guess this is our first discovery. This. Now, again, let's look at those, what are those called? Those same defaults they apply. So, configure OpenTelemetry, which is configured here, I guess. Yeah, OpenTelemetry is a good thing to have because OpenTelemetry is good. For those who don't know, yeah, OpenTelemetry is good. It allows logging. If you actually look at the dashboard itself, we have traces and metrics. Metrics are added by OpenTelemetry. Stuff like active requests, stuff like process runtime JIT compilation time, GC duration, and so on and so on. And traces, if you have certain traces, if something happens, they should appear here. Let's do this and let's open this up. Hello world. And as always, as soon as I start doing recording or streaming, I start yawning. Let's click weather. If we go into traces, you're gonna see here, you have a trace to web frontend / weather. If we now click counter, we should have had another one. Oh, all. Yeah. A bunch of traces, and we have each one has a span. Span essentially is some term from OpenTelemetry. It could, I think it could be also called a tag, I guess. And here we have different, how much certain things took time and so on. Now if we just check out this counter, let's do 10 clicks. I would thought I would see 10, but we don't because it's interactive in certain way. Cool. And we got a Blazor disconnect. That would be for a reason, I guess. So, and yeah, we also have logs, as I said. So we have WADs for web frontend, for API service, for container. There is nothing. Executable, which is finished. And we have some structured logs. That would be logs from all, from API service, from web frontend. But there is no logs from executable for some reason. My guess because there is no levels applied to that. There cannot be any kind of structuring to the structured logging. Allow me a moment so I can take a drink. No, no, Joshua. Drinks for me. A lot of them. And since we're in an intermission time a bit, everybody don't forget to click the like, subscribe, and notification buttons if you haven't already. It helps out the channel and it will allow you to not miss my brand new foray into shorts, which will more formally start during this week or the upcoming week with a couple more shorts and more will and maybe even a video. Who knows? I'd actually record it and edit it and actually be okay with its quality. We're gonna see. But yeah, I'm gonna do a couple of shorts this week. I don't yet know what, but probably something not interesting. So don't forget to check them out and be bored. YouTube.com/BigPod, the channel that promotes boredom. So there is already one short you can check out. It's a really bad short. It's literally named My First Short or something like that. It's named Hello Shorts, my first YouTube short, and has absolutely no audio. Grapple with that. So let's continue looking again at our new version or their new version of .NET 8, since it's Microsoft, not mine. Alright, shirt like a shirt. It's a short. I don't know. I don't understand the format. Honestly, I don't understand the format. I don't watch the format. For me, the whole idea of a minute, I don't know. For me, that format is weird. So I'm trying to do something. Been watching some shorts for a little bit this week so I could learn what the format is. It's weird. You have some weird videos, some less weird videos. I don't understand. You have some weird. I noticed some weird programming shorts that I don't get. Well, it's shorts. What it is to get. But let's continue with .NET 8. So we check out Aspire. I think there's some additional stuff. Let's check what we can learn additionally about Aspire. So okay. Service defaults will also have a inside here is Aspire shared project. Interesting. And again, it also facilitates service discovery. For us who don't know what service discovery is, service discovery is a way to do the DNS without doing DNS essentially in your applications. So, for example, in Kubernetes, you can have a named service. So, service has a certain name. Let's say Redis, and all the applications in that same namespace can find it just by the name of Redis. You don't need to know the IP or anything else about it, just that it's named Redis. Although in Kubernetes that is facilitated by DNS, but there are other options like HashiCorp console and some other service discoveries. I still don't understand why people would use anything other than DNS for service discovery. Anyone here might know why you would use anything else than DNS that worked last. Okay, I get it now. It's DNS. DNS is the one thing that always breaks. I get it now. But still, I don't get it. DNS most of the time works if it's set up correctly. Again, I get why, but still, if you don't set up any other service discovery correctly, you're gonna don't have service discovery. Please, someone explain, because I don't get it. But pointing to a website by the name using which then goes into a library, which then goes into asking a third-party server that you have to run, just like DNS. What IP is behind this name? Relaying it back over the library, and then there. Well, what does CERT have to do with DNS, with internal DNS? If everything is internal, you don't need SSL. But then again, you also should still have SSL, and more importantly, all your applications should still be accessible over a DNS name, not over IP, because IPs change and you don't have SSL then. You know, you don't have, especially if you do multi-site stuff, you should then have an SSL certificate anyway, so a self-signed cert, yeah. But you still have self-signed cert, and yeah, technically you can put IP on a self-signed cert, but it's services that run automatically, that are brought down and brought up automatically. You just want to have a single cert to give them at the end of the day, a single cert for that specific service, which you request from a server for this domain name, boop, and that's it. That's how it should work. That's how I set up things like Kubernetes or my own environment. But then that's just me. I try to do things right. Because if there is no self-signed cert, there is no certificate of any kind, inter-service communication is not encrypted, which means if I get access to the data center, I can read. And where is all data now? In cloud, and all your services run in cloud, on cloud-based Kubernetes, on cloud-based app service, whatever. What's that? Lambda, Cloud Engine, or whatever else there is available. I don't know. I just named the three biggest clouds. So yeah, everything is running there. So you should have everything encrypted. Why? Because it's not your servers. And shit happens. But let's get back to this code, because that's what's more interesting. Again, it has OTel, Open Telemetry. This is basically a standard now in cloud native metrics, stuff like that. In basically in cloud native world, this is an expert. Good job, BigPod, good job. This is now a standard, really. And they have instrumentation for ASP.NET Core, for gRPC client, for HTTP client, which is all nice, really nice. And they also have an exporter, of course, which they need, logically. And then we have exporters. Which are they? We have, first off, we have hotel exporter, which this is probably endpoint to which you point to. If you have another hotel capable thing, like, I don't know, I guess Grafana would be that kind of a thing. Then you have Prometheus exporter, which you basically enable by removing two lines, which is just nice. And you can also do Azure Monitor, again, by removing two lines. Or we can go to something else, builder.services.add OpenTelemetry.use. Doesn't say anything. Maybe because I don't have other things as a packages, and then it returns a builder. It adds basic default health checks, which is also good because if you don't have health checks, how will you know what is happening? And then of course at the end you have some built-in metrics you also want. So what meters you have for built-in metrics: HTTP, Kestrel, hosting, so on. So we have already explored this. Now let's look at another feature of .NET Aspire. That's .NET Aspire components. Components are a curated suite of NuGet packages specially selected to facilitate the integration of cloud-native services with prominent service and platforms, including but not limited to Redis and Postgres. This is direct quote from learn.microsoft.com/in-us/.net/aspire/components-overview ? Tabs equals .NET-CLI. That's direct quote from that website. If you're fast enough, you could have write it down, but you probably weren't because, well, I speak too fast. So, but if you did, good job. Let's see, we have a bunch of components available. Let me just show this on screen. This is their documentation website, probably one of the best documentation websites for a language you can find, or languages, really, you can find. So let's look at what kind of components we currently have. And the most important part, you can contribute to this documentation yourself because it's all on GitHub. So we have a table of what components we have. We have blob storage, we have entity framework core, Cosmos DB, Key Vault, Service Bus, so on, and we see a pattern. It's all Azure. And then we come to PostgreSQL Entity Framework Core. Okay, not an Azure thing. PostgreSQL, so it's Postgres. Isn't that like their competition? Because they make SQL Server. Of course they're gonna make it because they do host PostgreSQL in Azure. Of course they're gonna have a component for it. Then you have RabbitMQ, Redis distributed caching, Redis output caching, Redis itself, SQL server, and that's finally their own SQL server. But we're gonna check out what? Nothing, because let's talk about components. Let's add a component, but let's not use it. So how do we add a component into the workflow? We have to install, you see, we have to install aspire.mpg SQL. In program CS file of your project called add mpg data source. Oh, for the dependency injection containers, if you use dependency injections. I generally don't. Then I have to add these to connection strings. Can you add a connection string that? Oh, you can't, so no. Then I have to configure the component by doing that. Or through that. And then that's the dependency injection, if you use one, of course. It has additional login tracing and metrics, and health checks, plus resiliency enablement, connection retries, timeouts. This might actually be a useful thing to have. So let's go look at service discovery. Implicit service discovery by reference. Again, this is what I'm talking about. This is the thing. Why use this or wait, this somehow versus straight DNS? Still, I don't know why or how. Okay, see ya. So then we come to Kubernetes, and of course DNS SRV is what is used, of course. As always, as I said. Now, let's go see what else is new in .NET 8. Because there are things. So again, metrics, stuff like that comes around with Aspire are new. There are performance focused things. More randomness, better networking stuff. That's all cool. Interesting. Of course, native AOT support, that's important. So what is native AOT? Let's talk about that. Native AOT is, or native ahead of time compilation, is basically a way to build, kind of like you would build your C app, C++ app, Rust app. So into native binary, which you then just run. It potentially brings new performance and such stuff. We can check that out with a simple small app right now. Let's check it out actually. Here we go. I'm gonna create a new directory here. Let's call it native AOT. And we're gonna create a new, I'm gonna have to stop this, cd dot there, cd native AOT there, .NET new console. I'm going to help. Let's see if we have some sort of help in doing this. And we do. --AOT. which is default to false, so let's add it. Dash AOT. Get our new thing, and here we go. Hello world, that's all we require. And we're gonna do .NET build. We're gonna see if we do any kind of AOTing. Apparently no. But let's try .NET publish. And determining projects to restore yada yada yada. Generating native code. And there we go. CD, and if we go into this directory, we can see two files, native AOT and native AOT.dbg. If we open native AOT, we get hello world. Now we're gonna do a time, and we get, this is fish time, apparently, so fish has a much nicer time, so execute it in 2.93 milliseconds, I guess. Now we're gonna do a exact same simple application. Mkdir not native AOT. And we're gonna do .NET publish. Oh yeah, .NET new console .NET publish, which is built much faster. And if we go here, I believe we should see Krypton files. Okay, not that actually not that many, but one of them is non-native AOT. And interesting. Let's see, let me fix this. See what is wrong. Okay, let's try this again. Why would I clean your house, hip that? Let's try this again. If this doesn't work, I have another idea. Okay, I think I know what it is. I have an idea. We're gonna add dash dash, so .NET publish dash dash single, I don't know, self-contained, and we're gonna, here in not native AOT, we're gonna add publish single file through publish single file, or it enable, and enter. Okay, this should work. It did build self-contained, but not single file. That's interesting. And then we do dot slash not native IT, and it builds and it works. Let's time it. Does anybody remember what the time was for execution of the AOT one? As you can see, it's about the same. Yeah, about 40 milliseconds. But if you go back again, if you remember, please let me know so I don't have to go back and see. Even though at this point is about as useless since I am already almost there. Time dot slash native AOT and 2.62 milliseconds. Okay, yeah. So I guess let's go to, or let's see more. Yeah, around 3 milliseconds. So a simple, simple calculation would tell you that about 10 time improvement on just a Hello World app, which is pretty nice of an improvement. This will pair very nicely with cloud native applications. So let's try and make just a simple API. .NET new API dash AOT or web, I guess. Not an option. Dash list. Let's see our options. Okay. Web API. Web API AOT. Okay. Web API AOT. Enter. And we get our new project in the absolutely wrong position. Let's delete it. mkdir AOT API, cd AOT API, .NET new web API. Here it is. Let's run it. .NET run. Okay, it built our API. Let's see. Oh, it is a pretty long thing already. So I'm just gonna do ID 5. Nothing happens. Okay, I really do not care enough to do this. I just want to see if it actually does work, and it appears it does, and it is AOT. So, or let's see if it AOTs itself. It does, generating native AOT code, and it takes a bit longer because it's a lot bigger application. It should also have less of an impact on code, but or speed of working, but for containers it should be pretty nice, I guess, and might actually not require any kind of dependencies or a very little dependency. Let's check this out. .NET. Oh, let's make a Docker file. Docker file. I guess, yeah. From .NET. No, actually, let's not dick around with a Docker file. We can check that out later when we actually do a project with .NET 8 in next stream, I guess. So if you have any kind of comment, suggestion, chat messages, let me know in the chat section, I guess there, or there. And in the meantime, I'll be right back because, yeah. And before we do, I'm gonna actually have to create a new scene, which will take a moment. I'm gonna try and multiply this one, duplicate this, and I'm gonna rename this to okay. Oh, it's this kind of duplication. So it should be a duplicate, not a reference there. Everything should be okay. So I copy this and I paste it here as a duplicate, not a reference. Like that, and be right back. Write that down. Boom. Okay. Yeah, perfect. Be right back. Unmute, Big Pod, unmute. So I'm back. How was everybody doing? Hope you were great. If you haven't yet, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and chat somewhere. Maybe even there. Who knows where you to put it this time. And let's continue. And I think I'm gonna have to stop soon. So let's get through some other cool features. Since we were already doing an API, then I guess let's just jump into doing ASP.NET Core. And most important features, I guess, came in Blazor. Blazor is it's full stack web UI, so it will be a for spa applications, for server-side rendered applications in an interactive server over some sort of a communication protocol, like a long-running communication protocol, like web, what those called, WebSockets, or locally in WebAssembly. So, or you can have now a standard SSR, standard server-side rendering, so statically. Let's check it out, how it works, and I'm going to talk about why that is useful for Blazor. Blazor used to only have the server and WebAssembly versions, so interactive server and interactive WebAssembly. Now it has a static SSR. Let me just see if I have, yeah, I have the right screen. Let's go. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to be real quick this. I don't actually feel that great right now. This may require us to finish real soon. On the other hand, there are also other features we could look at. On minimal API side, you have user overrideable cultures, which is great. Some anti-forgery stuff. And that's it. What I want to mention. We should probably stick with Blazor. So let's create the app, shall we? Blazor .NET new dash list. Let's find Blazor. Blazor web app. This .NET new Blazor. And if I know correctly, this should start as complete SSR, right? Run. And running well indeed. Oh no, it actually has some sort of running component. Let's look at it closely. How does this work? Pages, counter, and there is on increment, and it has render mode interactive server. This is exactly what I want to point out. Now you can per page select what, or even per component, what kind of interactivity you want to have. So there are multiple interactive modes. So you have interact server, interactive WebAssembly, or something else. Let's leave it a server, and let's go to home, which has no interactivity, which means it should by default be interactive, I guess, SSR. Yeah, interactive server render mode. Let's see. This is it. Now if I go and just remove this render mode from counter and rebuild, we're gonna see, and I'm gonna rerun this. Let's do this. And if I click counter, and now since I remove render mode, it should not affect the counter, and it doesn't. Why? Because it isn't interactive. Now if I re-add interactive mode server, rebuild, and we're gonna reload this, do counter. Now it has counter. Really cool, actually. So why would this be useful? You're probably asking. Why would you want to have interactivity but maybe not always? So maybe you have a bigger application, something like homepage or your own personal page. that in general needs to only be doesn't need to be interactive. But there might be that one component, that one little piece that you would want to have interactive. Whether it be you want to have some animations run when you press a button, or something like that, which of course you could all write in JavaScript. But who wants to write JavaScript? Am I right? You can write in something like this. Or another example. Maybe you want to have a comment section on your blog. Simply make that single component, like you create a new component. For example, let's try and make a component. .NET new help. There should be help list. There should be a Blazor component here. An Razor component. Yeah, a Razor component, not Blazor component. Razor component, which is components.razor, and if we give it interactive mode, if we give it the same render mode, interactive server, every time this component now loads, let's just simply add it to home, components, this should be it, and cd.dot.net build and run, and what happens each time components builds, or each time components activates. So maybe when I click this, or let me show you actually, every time a site with an interactive component loads, it will open up something like this, at which points it will enable, since I have interactive server, a connection between you and server in a SignalR or WebSocket style connection, and you will start communicating just for this one component. Let's say it's a comment section. It will load your comments, yada yada yada, for that specific blog post. But everything else is completely statically rendered. So that means no interactivity, but more importantly, and this is really a lot more important, you have things like, it's standard HTML. That's why it's statically rendered. It's standard HTML, which means it's easy on the wire and it's cacheable, stuff like that. And since that one component is completely separate to that cached part, it will just easily cache it, which is nice. Makes the app really fast. It's also true. It's really fast to load, and that one component loads, maybe it needs to load slower, it will load slower, because maybe your interactive part runs on a separate server. Probably can be done. Have it on a separate server. You actually understood that rambling. Okay. That I don't think I understood that rambling. So I don't know how you did. I just rambled something about this stuff, and I guess it made sense. That's me. I'm doing my own stream. I ramble. So I see I have 3 viewers, which is almost a record for me. I did have twice 5 viewers on this stream, so I'm big. Now, if you haven't been here yet, before, or this stream, or ever before, don't forget to click the like button, subscribe button, and say hello in the chat over there somewhere. Thank you. And yeah, I actually do feel a bit better now, so maybe we can ramble a bit longer, not just for a few minutes. Like, I think we could, because, well, I don't feel that bad anymore. Yay! Now, to get I do know about this part because I watched their stream about this, so I do know that if you want to do like a WebAssembly interactive thing, you need a separate project for WebAssembly, which is what we can find. Come on, stop. Okay, it's shutting down. Yeah, I can close this. Where are you? Shut down. Shut you down. Okay. You have to create a new project. So .NET new Blazor Vasm. Samkadir Blazor Vasm. So the Blazor Vasm. .NET new Blazor Vasm. And now we have to somehow wire things up correctly, so it has a WASM and non-WASM connection, and that's where I kind of get lost. So in here, I guess, .app .map Blazor, I guess. Let's see what our friends at Microsoft have to say in this part. Render modes, migration. So integrate. You also have persistence for this stuff, and you have stream rendering. Some really cool stuff, actually. Improvements to authorization and authentication, but I have no idea how. I basically know barely anything about authentication, authorization, so we probably will have to make a stream out of it to check it out. So enable support for interactive modes. So we go here with add interactive server mode. When it's a server mode, we have to do WebAssembly render mode, and that will complain apparently, or no. cd blazor .NET build. Let's see if it actually complains. Yes, it does. Oh yeah, complain about that part actually. Builder .services, I guess, .add. Okay, that should, oh, interactive, add interactive. There is no Razor components, huh? Or Vasm components. Let's see. Okay. it should be onto this. Add interactive render mode. I guess we need additional libraries. Let's add them as soon as I figure out what they are. Maybe this tells me. Nope. No, it does not. And then here, again, it's components, not render mode. Render mode goes here lower, here, dot, add interactive WebAssembly render mode. There. Now, if this was working, it should get probably a hint what I need, but it isn't. Okay. So I'm looking active server. Yeah. I'll figure it out another time, I guess, because I have no idea. I actually don't. Actually, due to previous apparently problems, that started cropping up during the stream. I think I'm gonna end stream right now. I don't actually feel. Again, I don't feel that great. Thank you guys for. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. And sorry this stream ended so abruptly, but I don't feel the best right now. I'll see you next time. Bye.